Check my height. Okay.
Ah! Okay. Woo! Sorry, we got it. What's up, you guys? It's Max, and I'm back with another main video. Today we're going to talk about the new piercings on my ear that I got. But for that, I just want to acknowledge that I do have this weird... I have a weird microphone setup. This is my streaming microphone. Unfortunately, it's small. It's literally called the Razer Siren Mini. So me filming on my bed, it would be too far away from my mouth if I just placed it on my bed. So I have it placed on top of a book, on top of my Hydro Flask, an appropriate level. But I'm trying to figure out how I can make this work without losing the bed as my background, you know? Anyway, appreciate the hard work, please. We've got a microphone, we've got better audio now. So let's get started. I know I haven't done this for the past two main videos, but I'm bringing it back. I asked the cards to bring out an affirmation for all of you guys, for the collective PYT community that has a message for all of you that could help motivate you throughout your week, or maybe even give you a reminder that you needed to hear. And the card that I brought out: in every moment, the universe is conspiring to bring me toward right-minded thinking and the energy of love. The universe is on your side. It always is, and it always will be. And just because things don't go right doesn't mean that the universe is conspiring against you. When in fact, in every second of the day, of every single day, the universe is working its way towards you and is doing its best to move you through your own life and bring you towards your highest good. So just keep that in mind, you know? Even when you feel like you're alone, you're not truly alone, because the universe is out there watching over you and is doing its best to make things better for you. And just remember that sometimes all you gotta do is ask, you guys. Ask for what you want, believe that you're gonna get it, or maybe even ask how it gets better. Especially when you're having a bad day. I've experienced this recently. When you're having a bad day, just talk out loud, ask the universe, show me how it gets better. And you might see that throughout your day. So, yeah. That's your little affirmation of the week. So as you guys saw in my last vlog, I gave you guys a sneak peek to getting my Daith piercing and my flat piercing. I had never ever been one to want extra piercings on my ears. I'm a tattoo girl. I'm not a piercing girl. But one night, my sister walked into my room looking for a piercing buddy. And I was like, what the hey? Let's get it on. Ew, no. What the hey? What the hey? Let's do it. So she got in contact with Raven Piercings on Instagram. They were a piercing business that she had been looking at for a while now. And now that she had her piercing buddy, that's who she went directly to. So we basically set an appointment with them. And it turned out that they actually did home services, as long as you get at least 3 piercings. So my sister got 2 piercings and I got 1, and then I added an extra piercing for me, and she also added another extra piercing for her. So that's how it worked. We didn't have to leave the house. They actually came to us. So we didn't have to worry so much about, you know, exposing ourselves to Miss Rona. Let's talk COVID protocols. Based on their services and of course talking to them, they were relatively safe people to be around. But I wanted something more solid to go off of with regards to their exposure to the virus, right? Because if they're available for a home service for me and my sister, then imagine how many homes they go to as a full-time service to pierce all these different people who I don't know where they've been. That was my main fear, you know? Like, it's great that they do home service, but if you think about it, like, how many other people have they pierced and traveled to that could have possibly exposed them to the virus, right? So I took it upon myself to send them a message and ask what their protocols are. Of course, masks and face shields are in the mix. And I was also very happy to find out that they actually did monthly PCR tests for their employees. So I didn't have to worry about them like not taking any tests and just going off of how they've been feeling. They did do monthly proper testing for the virus, and they've been cleared every month. So that was a very good sign for me. So yeah, that basically like calmed my mind with regards to my own paranoia. At least I knew that they were being tested. with regards to me and my sister and our potential exposure to the virus, because of course everyone is at risk, right? Before we actually proceeded with the day of the piercing service, my sister and I waited till we were fully vaccinated. So not just one dose of the vaccination, but we got both doses of the vaccine, which we took, Sinovac. I have a whole video on that. You can check it out here. We knew at that point that it was safe on the services side and it was safe on our side. So on to figuring out which piercings I want. Again, I was never one to look at piercings or even want piercings. So when I decided to do this with my sister, I really had no clue what I even wanted to get. So there's no science or deepness into why I chose a doth and a flat piercing. Basically, I went on Pinterest, I looked at piercing placements, and I looked at which ones were the prettiest to have. And to me, that was the doth and the flat piercing in one ear. So that was basically how I decided. I did further research after that, of course, because I was scared of being pierced. It is someone ripping through my skin in my ear, right? So I did do some research and found out that the doth piercing actually has studies done to it that showed that it helped with anxiety management and headaches as well. It helps lessen, if not completely get rid of it. So that was a major plus for me, because you guys know I have anxiety. That's something that I have been clinically diagnosed with. And headaches aren't something that I get a lot, but you know, I get them every now and then, so it was a plus. I didn't realize that ear piercings could have health benefits, and apparently that was the health benefit for a doth piercing. So just in case you were wondering. So earlier we talked about COVID protocols and the things that I made sure of to make sure that everyone was safe and sound and sanitary once it came to the actual piercing session. But in preparation for the actual piercing session, my sister and I made sure that she didn't make contact with anyone in the family who wasn't getting a piercing. We set her up in the back of our house where it was an open space, well ventilated with a lot of wind, so that, you know, God forbid if anything goes wrong, at least we're out in the open and we're less exposed to it, if that makes any sense. We definitely prepared her route on how she would get into the house. And on top of that, we also had an extra saliva test in our home. And before the actual service was conducted, we had Shane, the person who was going to do our piercings for the both of us, take the saliva test so that we can make sure that she's still negative. Now, I know that the saliva test is not as accurate as a PCR test, but again, they do take those tests monthly, and at least we could make use of some kind of a test as opposed to not having a test at all. So that was just extra reinforcement to make sure that we were safe and sound. And then the piercing began. I didn't check out the pain charts the way I did when I got my tattoo. I didn't check which piercing would hurt more. But I did expect the doth piercing to hurt more because it's inside my ear, you know, that's bound to hurt more. It's pretty thick cartilage, I think. Like, it's a thicker part of the ear, so I figured, right? But if there was anything I learned in terms of pain when it comes to piercing that day, is that it's completely different on your pain tolerance as a person and how you take pain as a person. My sister and I pretty much got the same piercings. We both got a doth piercing and a flat piercing. And she got her piercings first, and based on her experience, her flat hurt more than her doth piercing. But then I went into it, and my doth piercing hurt more than my flat piercing. Just a trigger warning, you guys, and a quick disclaimer as well. These next clips are me getting pierced, but you don't see any blood, you don't see the needle go into my ear at all. It's a wide shot of me getting pierced, so you don't get to see it up close, but you do see me go through it. So view at your own discretion. If you want to skip this part of the video and not risk it at all, then you can go to this timestamp. But again, you don't see any blood, you don't see any needles, you don't see any actual piercing happening. It's just me going through it. That's it. I'm really scared. I'm really... So it doesn't... Okay. Ah! Okay. Woo! Sorry, we got it. Got it. Ooh! Holy crap on a cracker! Alright! Okay!
Lapit ka.
Sorry!
Wala ka na sa frame.
Sorry!
Ay, oo, wala ka na nga sa frame. Sorry.
Okay, that one wasn't that bad. Is it bleeding?
Hindi.
Hindi.
Ganda. Hindi ka pa hindi dumugo.
Okay, yeah. Yeah. That was painful.
Okay. Bilis lang naman eh. She fast. Okay, you're done.
Are we done? Is that
Not yet,
it?
not
Okay.
yet. The ball lang, the ball. The ball. Yay! Okay na. Was that more painful?
No, the Daith was more painful.
Oh, okay.
This one felt like someone pinched
So you
my
guys can
ears.
see me kind of moving away. Because of course, right, they're jamming a needle into your ear, creating a hole so that you can have some jewelry put in there. But the thing is, it really wasn't as bad as it might look to you guys. It was like a second of sharp pain, maybe even a split second of sharp pain. And then it felt like a bruise. That's pretty much it. Kung nagkapasa kayo before, or if you've ever had a bruise before, like a really deep bruise that was painful, that is pretty much what it feels like. And then afterwards, it just feels sore. My flat piercing hurt less. It still was that sharp pain followed by bruising pain, but it was a lot more intense when they were doing my Daith piercing compared to my flat piercing. So, short to say, it's completely bearable. It's not as painful as I worked it up to be in my head. And if I were to compare the pain that I experienced from my ribcage tattoo to the pain that I experienced from both my Daith and my flat piercing, the tattoo hurt less. The piercings still weren't all that painful, but the tattoo did hurt less. Yeah, that's the best way I can explain the experience. Now I'm gonna show you guys the end result of the whole thing. I don't know about you, man, but I think it's super cute. It's super exciting to have different ear piercings now. I really never thought of myself as someone who would have extra ear piercings, but here we are. Things change apparently, and one of those things are the number of holes I have in my left ear. Another tiny little tip, by the way, that I learned when I was getting my ear piercing was the kind of steel that you have to put in if you are a beginner when it comes to piercings. But prior to this, when we were choosing the kind of earrings that we wanted to have alongside the piercing, which by the way, Raven Piercings do carry their own earrings that you can buy alongside the piercing service, I chose gold earrings for both the flat and my Daith piercing because all my jewelry is gold. I love gold jewelry. So that was what I chose. But on the day of the actual service, I found out that it's actually safer to go with a titanium metal earring as opposed to a gold earring. I forgot why. The vaguest thing that I remember about why it's safer is that it's less prone to infection. I'll do my research. I'll leave some kind of reference down in the description box so you get the specifics on that. Yeah, we were told that titanium metal is safer to use as a beginner. And because of that, I ended up switching from the gold jewelry that I chose to titanium, and that's why I have silver on my ears as opposed to gold. But I did keep the gold jewelry that I had chosen beforehand because I wanted to be able to switch into that once the piercings have healed. If there was anything you needed to consider when it comes to deciding on whether you should get a piercing or not, it should be whether you can commit to the maintenance post piercing your ear, especially if it's a Daith piercing. Certain parts of your ears heal in different timelines. So for example, a flat piercing can heal in 3 months, whereas a doth piercing will heal between 9 to 12 months. So it's definitely a commitment. And when it comes to actually cleaning the piercings, it is like definitely an extra step you have to allot time for twice a day, because you have to clean your piercings twice a day. When it comes to how much time I consume when I clean my ear piercings, I can take from maybe 15 minutes to 30 minutes, depending on, I don't know, like how painful it is maybe, or how meticulous I am when it comes to cleaning my piercings. On the first 2 days, it took me like 30 minutes to clean them because I was being super careful. But I'm almost a week in already. It's a lot less painful now, and I've kind of gotten the hang of it, so I can take up maybe 15 to 20 minutes now instead of 30. With the way I clean my ears, there are 3 things that you need ultimately to have for maintenance and cleansing of the piercing. You're going to need sea salt, okay? Not regular salt or iodized salt or Himalayan salt. You need sea salt. You also need warm water, and you also need a spray bottle. To be honest, the spray bottle is optional. You don't really need it, but I suggest you do because it makes it so much easier. You can buy really cheap spray bottles online. I will link everything down in the description box below. Oh, actually, 4 things. You need cotton buds and cotton pads. You put 1/4 teaspoon of sea salt into 250 milliliters of warm water, and then you mix it together. So ideally, you put that in your spray bottle, then you take a cotton pad and you try to carefully, okay, carefully, especially if you have a doth piercing, carefully put that in your ear hole so that it blocks any water that you spray onto your ear from seeping inside, okay? We don't want water stuck in our ears. Place that inside your ear hole. You now grab your salt water in your spray bottle and you spray it on your piercing. Try to get as close as you can as possible without hurting yourself or stretching your ear too much, and make sure you spray the front of the piercing and the back of it. So now that you've thoroughly sprayed your piercings, the next step that I do is I grab a cotton swab and I spray that with the salt water, and then I kind of clean up around my piercings. I try to get into the nooks and crannies of my ear as close to the piercing hole as I can without hurting myself. And of course, you also clean up the back of your piercing with that cotton swab that's been soaked in salt water. The last step is for you to properly soak your piercings. So with this, what I do is I grab an extra cotton swab, I douse that in salt water again, I spray it until it's thoroughly soaked, and then I just put it on my ear and make sure that it's touching the piercings as best as it can, and then I hold it there and set a timer for 5 minutes. And you need to soak those piercings for 5 minutes. Once the timer is done, you're good to go. Take that out, throw it in the trash, dry it up a little bit, and then that's it. That's the maintenance. But you gotta do that twice a day, in the morning and at night. Usually I do it after I shower in the morning and after I shower at night. I don't know if any of you guys are interested on my piercing experience, but there you have it. I thought I'd talk about it because when I got my tattoo a few years back, a lot of you guys are looking for the video, and I shamefully said I did not film one. So I figured this is my sorry video for that. I'm sorry I didn't film the tattoo video. Here's my piercing video. I hope you guys found this interesting. If you guys aren't already a part of my private Facebook group for all my subscribers, you can join the PYT family on Facebook here. We have supportive threads on there where you can talk to us about your day, share some insights on self-improvement and personal growth or mental health. We got a lot of fun stuff on there. It's just a lot of interactive threads that I put out there to help support you guys and spread some love to my subscribers, of course. So if you're not already a part of that, you can go to the description box and click the link and join. Just make sure you answer all the questions, okay? We decline any requests that don't answer all the questions. And if you are a supporter that wants to find a hardcore way to truly support me and my channel and keep my channel going, I also have a coffee page, so I hope you guys check it out. No pressure, of course. You don't have to, but it's just there in case, you know, you decide you want to
help keep this channel alive. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you all, and I truly appreciate each and every single one of you. I will see you guys in the next vlog and in the next main video. Let me know if you guys want me to make a main video on any specific thing so I can do my research on it and talk about it with you guys on my channel. I love you all. Bye.
Little time's gonna take off. Lost and found, that's what we are. City lights in plastic cars.